Konnichiwa, I'm John Hornick. Welcome to my Japanese Faves series where we'll cover every major type of Japanese food. This lesson is Yaki-Ton. Yaki-Ton is very popular in Japan. It's usually found in small shops or Izakaya, which are Japanese pubs. Yaki means grilled or cooked, and ton means pork. So this is grilled pork, in this case, pork belly. The grilling usually happens on skewers, sometimes with negi onions, which are a tasty scallion-like green onion that's popular in Japan. I think this is the best way to cook pork belly because much of the fat renders and the remainder is crispy and delicious and doesn't seem very fatty. So let's start cooking. All right, now we're going to skewer the scallions and the tomatoes, and we're going to put them on their own skewers because they cook at a different rate from the pork, okay? And we're going to try to leave a little bit of space between each one. And I'm using these flat bamboo skewers. Why do I use the flat ones? The flat ones, the food doesn't turn on the skewers like it does on a round skewer. But you could use a round skewer if that's what you have. Okay, then now you might ask, well, why am I skewering these before I skew the pork? And that's because the pork is going to contaminate the board. Okay, so I'm going to do this work first, and then we'll skewer the pork, and we'll clean up the board afterward. Okay, now we're going to brush these with a little olive oil and season them, okay? Okay, let's light our grill. Okay, here we have our pork belly, and you're going to have to look at your pieces and judge how to cut them, okay? This piece is about 2 to 3 inches wide. I'm going to cut it down the middle. Okay, and then I'm going to cut it into chunks. So we have about 1 inch square chunks. Now this piece is more of an odd shape, okay? So we are going to cut it this way and then this way. The chunk comes out a little bit smaller than the others, and then this one, we're going to cut away some of this excess fat. And then, when we skewer this one, we're going to fold it, which will make it roughly the same size as the others, okay? Now what we want to do is skewer them, all right? Okay, now we have our pork here on a sizzle plate. We're going to just brush this lightly with oil. Now you might wonder, why is he brushing pork belly with oil when it already has so much fat? The reason is so that the pieces don't stick to the grill, okay? Okay, now we're going to season. If you watch my other videos, you know that when I say season, I mean always and only salt and pepper. And I always use kosher salt. Well, sometimes I use sea salt. And I always use Peppermill for freshly ground black pepper. And if you watch my videos, you know I like to pat it in. So I'm going to pat it in and do the same thing on the other side. All right, let's add the pork skewers to the grill. We'll add the other skewers, the tomatoes and the onions later because they'll cook at a different rate. Now we're going to let these cook until they get light brown on both sides.
All right, let's see how we're doing. Oh, we're getting some brown here. We're going to let them go a bit longer, get a little bit browner before we turn them over. That one's getting really nice. We're going to put that in a slightly cooler place, and we'll kind of move them around on the heat to where the hot spots are. You got to know your grill. Okay, they're getting a nice brown on one side, so we're going to turn them over. And that took about 4 minutes, I'd say. But it's going to vary depending on the heat of your grill and where you are on the grill. If you're on a hot spot or on a cooler area. All right, now let's check this side. Okay, we're getting a nice brown there. And since these are pretty much square, we're going to do all 4 sides that way. Okay, we have a nice light brown on all 4 sides. Now we're going to start to brush them with whatever sauce you choose to use. I'm using Kabayaki sauce. In the notes, I mentioned several other sauces. Yakiniku sauce, teriyaki sauce. And what we're going to do is brush them and turn them. Brush them and turn them until they are beautiful. And now that we have the sauce on them, we're going to put the onions and the tomatoes on the grill also and brush those. Okay, now some of the pieces are just getting to be beautiful, okay? Nice, brown, caramelized. And we're going to take those off, okay? And keep checking them. These are also probably about half the size that they started out. Most of the fat has rendered, or not, I shouldn't say most. A lot of the fat has rendered. And what's left is kind of crispy, okay? Oop, we're losing a tomato there. Be careful. All right, I think these tomatoes can come off. Now we're going to take off these last pieces of pork. Okay. And we are ready to plate. Okay, I have plated up 2 dishes. We have some Yaki-Ton, the tomatoes, and the scallions. You can see photos of the final dish at my Instagram, which is @ChefsApprentice, Cook Like a Pro. Please remember to subscribe to my channel, and thanks for watching.